Okay. I'm going to I'm going to see I'm looking at the auditory portion of the video to determine if it's recording some sound, which it appears to be. And I'm just going to make a video of my thoughts while I eat some banana with peanut butter, which I like a lot. So, so I figure that we might as well have our conversation with a field open. So I'm just going to ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to an event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time. I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event, release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves, and I ask that we all be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. Upon arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. I figure if you're going to have a conversation, have it be a healing session. Like, have the attention and intention that you might have, that I might have in a healing session when I'm having conversations. Because then the conversations become healing sessions. So my intention was just to give a little bit of a few small things to think about. And I thought, well, if I'm going to talk about these small things to think about that I've been doing and that I've been finding very useful, which have to do with giving ourselves a break. Not from life, but from this constant self reflection that you may not do um, as often. But if you had a parent that continually pointed out things you were doing wrong, you may have developed a habit of trying to preempt their finding what you were doing wrong and pointing it out, which caused uncomfortable feelings, by just thinking about everything you're doing and try to focus your attention on what you're doing wrong so you won't be doing it when they're watching. Complicated math. It's calculus of the emotional psychological world. If you want to be able to work with the more intense energies that may be stored within your body, then there are some key things that you can practice that'll get you better at it so that more and more over time you don't lose yourself to the intensity of the event you're clearing. And it's interesting because I ask the higher self to take us as a group of souls through the portal of time, so to go into a place of timelessness where all time is occurring, and to take us to an event that would be of the highest good for us as a group to release and integrate at this time. So on a soul, then we invite all these souls. I invite all souls to return to the event, release, integrate the energy of the event for themselves. Those souls will know who they are, and they'll just find themselves like, I'm just, the soul is like to the body, mind, personality, ego person. I'll be back in a bit. I'm getting getting a call. I need to check into this, and then the soul just goes back there. And the body mind is like, what's going on, man? It feels like something's going on. So that may be what you're feeling. I'm certainly feeling this. I had the thought, you're gonna record this, turn it into a healing field in your mind, turn it into a healing field in reality, whatever reality is. But make it up that it's a healing field. Go back to an event. Make your words valuable. That when you're speaking about handling energies, you may as well be working with energies. And they're probably the energies you were working with before you became conscious of the need to set up a healing field. So we're back in an event. So what does that event do for you? Write it in the comment section. Well, when we went back to this event, you don't have to tell me the event, what happened in the event specifically. I want to know what you noticed on a body level, a mind level, an emotions level, a spirit level. What happened when your soul met that event? And so for me, just like this tightness in my chest, just my chest just felt like it locked up. And I can feel that tightness in my throat. And I can feel like this, and I had just been doing some really good meditation, but I could feel this jaw tightness and this neck tightness. So anyway, I'm not suggesting you feel these things. If you're not feeling them, don't feel them. If you are feeling them or other things, then maybe in the comment section, just make a note to me, like what you notice from the event, so I can compare and contrast. So here's what I want to do. We're just working with these energies, and just, you may want to state, I connect with my deep self. Go into the piece of your deep self. I connect with my higher self. I connect with my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. I release anything not useful to me now. And if you choose to work with the Hathors in terms of your own healing, just state, I choose to work with the Hathors. They're there, they'll know, they'll help. They'll become more conscious if you want them to. Otherwise, they'll just support you releasing these energies. So let's just go through the mind. Go into the mind and think about the things that you've been practicing, the things that I've been practicing over the past week that have been very beneficial. And just recognizing the usefulness of this. So one is working with the term bandwidth. Now, a really good friend of mine introduced this term to me when she was telling me a story about she had realized she didn't have enough bandwidth for something someone else was dealing with and kind of dumping in some ways on her while she was working with a whole lot herself. So she told me about this thing. I didn't have enough bandwidth for it. And that really went in my consciousness. And then there was a situation came up in a conversation with her where I said, and this was a day or two later, where I said, have enough bandwidth for this. And I said, and you taught me about bandwidth, and now I'm having an experience of it. What you're talking about, I don't have the bandwidth for it. And so it shifted our conversation. So now we're really comfortable with each other. When we go, it's not like we stop each other from talking about something when we're talking about something, and this is a friend, client, co-conspirator. When we're talking about something, and the energy is you and I, or you and anyone, me and anyone, and there's energy moving between us. This to me is this works when there's energy moving between us. When you're saying about something, and we're not trying to fix each other. That's another very valuable thing. We're just working on creating the space where another can feel safe, but not a space in which we no longer feel safe. So, one, create a space for yourself where you feel safe. And then carry that feeling of safety into a relationship with others. And if at some point you get triggered and it doesn't feel safe, you can begin practicing and saying things like, I feel triggered. I don't feel safe. Can we just stop talking about this thing while I just work with these energies and see if I can come out of feeling not safe? And if you come out of feeling not safe, you say, well, I'm not sure I can deal with the thing you're talking about, but if you want to, again, begin talking about it and see what happens, we can do that. You can make up choices, because when you're in a relationship, and all relationships, we have relationships with people because they have value in some way for us and for the other person. Hopefully it has value for both. But when we can learn to be honest in our communication, the relationship ought to continue. If it doesn't, and this doesn't mean to be mean or tell the other person that they have fat legs because you're being honest. It doesn't have to do with that. It has to do with, like, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed by this energy that we're working with. I might need to take some time to work with it, which is about bandwidth. So she talked about it in terms of bandwidth. My trauma therapist instructor talks about it as the fullness of your cup. And the cups in Tarot are related to emotions. So when you have so much in your cup that the emotions are spilling out the side, that's a time when you probably don't have enough bandwidth, don't have enough room in your cup. And those, if it's a cup of emotions, those emotions need to be worked with as consciously as possible. And the way to work with those as consciously as possible is to be grounded. So when you feel ungrounded, and you can take time to yourself, use your breathing. Breathe in 4 counts, breathe out 8 counts. Breathe in 5 counts, breathe out 10 counts. Double the count out to the count in. If you need to speed up your breath and go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just the slowing of the out breath takes you into deeper feeling of relaxation, and it takes you out of fight or flight within your vagal nerve system. The vagal nerve, they're starting to think, has two components. One is a component of the vagus nerve as it's functioning in safety and relaxation. The other one is the vagus nerve functioning in fight or flight. We need to be able to regulate that, and we can regulate it through breath. So when we go into fight or flight, if it's all working with situations that we're in. So to let another person know when you don't have the bandwidth to work with the intensity of the energies that you're working with, say, I just need some time, to take the time when you can, when you need to just take and process some information, go and process it. Make sure that you're grounded so that those overflowing emotional energies can go out the feet and get integrated through the healing center of the earth. You can integrate these energies and come back more to a balanced place. Create safety for yourself. Become your safe person. So when you get triggered by something, you don't have to run off right away, but you may want to learn to say, I feel triggered. I'm not blaming this on you. It just happened that I got triggered while you were talking. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you, but I need to take some time just to work with this. And it may just be a few minutes, but I'm just going to sit down for a minute, save your thought. We might go back to it, we might not, but I'm going to sit down and breathe for a few minutes. 4 counts in, 8 counts out, whatever. Just all of a sudden, okay, might stay to connect to my deep self. Go into that place of peace of the deep self. Find yourself regulating your nerve system, because if you can learn to regulate your nerve system and bring yourself out of fight or flight into calm and balanced and grounded and present, this is the key to healing everything. I mean, there are times when you need to be in the fight or flight and you just need to be moving more quickly, but very rarely. The fight or flight is a habit. And I lived in that for 61 years and then came out of it. The past 3 months, for whatever reason, have just been cranked up fight or flight. But I'm better at working with it. So even though I'm working with a lot of panic and anxiety and fear from the world field, because I can resolve it within myself, and then I can still feel it in the world field. But I can then just ground the world field from a calm place, which is essential. To find that calm place for yourself, if you're going to be working with these intense energies because they're worldwide as far as I can tell. If you don't think they are, I'm not a good channel to visit, because I just feel like the intensity of the energies has been rising. And in my worldview, we have 3 more months of this, of processing these energies before the whole thing clears. That's my worldview. So if you like that worldview, then listen to me. And if you don't like that worldview, find some worldview you do like. Okay. So we've cleared the event. There are maybe more things I'll talk about later, but that feels like that was useful. The event's clear. I'm going to say a few words. I asked the higher self to assist all the souls that returned to the event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and take that combined soul back in their body with all of its wisdom, power, and clarity. compassion, curiosity, and kindness. And I ask all those souls to ground themselves in the healing center of the earth. Open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. And I ask that these new energies be brought in now. And I ask that they be activated. And I let the universe and beyond know that this has taken place and that it's good. Okay, that's the healing field for today, and I'm going to stop it now so that it'll upload a little faster. So now let's go.